Yo, what's up? It's the Performance Academy podcast. My name is Zach Rowe.
And I'm Joshua Rice.
And so this is episode 1. Now, this has quite the story behind it. We've done a couple podcasts, but those those are in the trash can right
They're
now.
lost in the ether. Your ether.
Yeah, ether.
Something like that.
So yeah, we did a couple podcasts. I mean, damn near like a year ago at least. I was kind of joking with my parents. I was like, it only took us like a year to figure out how to post or how to host a podcast.
And get it uploaded, yep.
So we've done a couple, but
Dry runs.
They were so long ago. I don't remember what we talked about. It's kind of whatever at this point. I think it was better just to start fresh. So yeah, I've been wanting to do a podcast for a long time. I listen to a lot of fitness related podcasts. Obviously, JRE is the inspo. Watch that all day, every day. What is it? What's the saying?
Jerry, Train by Day,
Joe Rogan podcast.
Joe Rogan by night,
no,
all day.
Well, you butchered it.
That's it, right?
No, it's Train by Day, Joe Rogan podcast by night, all day.
Oh,
and extra trivia bonus points. Who said that?
Nate Diaz, dog.
Word. So there you go. But also like the Mark Bell podcast. I'm a fan of them over there. Sacramento, I believe he's based out of Super Training Gym. And so I mean, I guess since this is the first legit one we're doing, let's just do like our backgrounds. Sound good?
Yeah, sure.
You hit it, Josh. You talk first.
Okay, I've been an athlete my whole life. Played soccer, and then now I'm just doing a little bit of jiu-jitsu, and then also
jiu-jitsu,
weight training, resistance training as well for the past 6-7 years now, I guess. Wait, how old am I? 6 years maybe. And I'm just kind of interested in sport performance and how lifting and training can help influence, I guess, specifically something like jiu-jitsu for myself, but then also helping others as well. So that's kind of like a quick summary of me.
Okay, and I've also played sports my whole life, mainly baseball growing up. I did a little bit of everything, but baseball, and then also I did swim in high school. That's kind of what the main sport that got me into lifting, because we started lifting for that. So that was when I was about 16. So I've been lifting for about 6 years too. I wouldn't say all of that's quality, because we were doing some dumb shit in the high school gym.
True.
Like before practice or whatever. But nonetheless, and yeah, I'm a trainer at the Lakewood YMCA. I've had my cert. I just recerted like a couple weeks ago, so I've been certed for over 2 years now. And at the beginning of the year, I got my health coaching certification through ACE. So that's pretty cool. Haven't been able to really use that as much as I'd like, but just working on it. It's hard to market that.
Yeah.
But I feel like once I kind of figure it out, it'll be easier in these times, because we'll get into it later. But yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I should also mention that I am also a trainer at the YMCA.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're both certified through NASM.
It's a little relevant, and we're also finishing up this year our kinesiology degrees as well at Cal State Long Beach. So
yeah, you have one more class.
Yep.
And I have like 3, so
pretty much done. But
yeah, pretty much done. Tired of that. It's nonsense, but
all right. So what are we talking about today?
Okay, so I figured we kind of just start with what's going on with our fitness as of right now. So if you're listening to this way into the future, it's COVID times, the Rona season, as they say. And I'll just start off. At the beginning of this quarantine, we've talked about it, but I was really right before we were both lifting just pretty steadily. Mm-hmm. I was doing 5-6 days a week. Shout out to Dr. Mike Isertel. I was following his programming design for hypertrophy. I really enjoy his outlook on program design, and I was just super obsessed with that and doing a lot of that. And then I was at the very end of my second mesocycle of the year, and quarantine hit, and gyms got closed, and I was just really bummed out. I was lacking motivation to really work out. Kind of getting back into it, but I've been cycling a lot, dude. Did you see my?
I did.
Dude, one of my clients got me a road bike, so I only had a fixie before that, and I was trying to cycle from Long Beach down to Seal Beach 13-mile round trip, and that shit was hard.
Damn, I got you a bike. That's pretty sick.
He didn't give it to me. Well, he let me borrow it.
Mm.
But so yeah, I was trying to go. I was doing the Long Beach to Seal Beach down the San Gabriel.
Riverbed.
Yeah, riverbed. It's not really a river. It's more of like a flood channel, but
That's our river around here.
yeah, basically, it kind of turns into a river eventually.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's like not completely concreted out. It eventually turns into a river. It's a nice little ride down there.
Yeah.
And so, but moral of the story is I got a road bike. That shit is so much fun, dude.
Yeah.
Do you have like a road bike or?
I got
like
a beach cruiser, man.
You can't keep up.
Yeah.
Dude.
Well, I ran down there. I ran down to
Oh
Seal
yeah,
Beach.
you told me that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
When you were training for your marathon.
that counts. Yeah. Nah. Yeah. Road bike would be cool.
Dude, I mean, so much fun. I don't even understand. It just takes me back to like middle school or whatever, just riding around with bikes and just like going to your friend's house or whatever. But I like to go fast, dude. Like
Yeah.
I went with my friend Danny. So I went down with him one time. I had my fixie, and if you've ever ridden a fixie, it's challenging bike to go long distances because you know it's a fixed gear, so you got to keep pedaling, and you can't switch gears. Obviously, just one. So I went down there. I was struggling a little bit, but I mean it was whatever. It wasn't that big of a deal. And then we went last time, and with my new road bike that my client let me borrow, and I was busting his ass. I was going so fast, and he was just like, he was just. Then he started to blame it on his bike, and his bike isn't as good as mine, this, that, and the other. But I was like, whatever, dude. I'm trying to go fast. It's so much fun just to like, just haul ass.
Haul it. Yeah.
And dude, I mean, I'm not even a legit cycler yet. I'm just getting into this shit. But those people, just you don't have any business being out there, bro. Like, I hate saying that as a newbie, but like, there's some just very large, out of shape, unathletic people out there, just cruising 4 miles an hour. Like, just, I mean, bro.
Well, they're on the riverbed.
Get the fuck out of the way. Get out of the way, though. You know.
Just go around them.
I do. I blast by them, but it's just like it's frustrating, dude.
Well, they're trying to get it in, right?
I mean, are they though? They're going so damn slow. It's just like some of them have electric bikes. My friend, she has an electric bike.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's the point of that? That's a motorcycle.
Yeah.
That's a motorcycle, basically. You're not even pedaling.
No, yeah, I agree with you on that.
I got hella burnt too.
Sheesh, look at you.
And I put sunscreen on twice. I'm not much of a sunscreen guy,
That's
but
rough.
I put it on before, and then also before coming back, and I still got burnt to shit. But that's just what's going on right now. I'm super into cycling. You don't really follow Brendan Schaub, right? You're listening to the Fighter and the Kid podcast?
No, just when he's on Joe Rogan.
Well, I listen to the Fighter and the Kid, and he started this new thing because he started getting into cycling like at the same time as me, but he lives up in like the hills of like Los Angeles, so he started this new thing called the Thick Boy Bike Club. Are you familiar? Okay, so he's a big dude. He used to be a heavyweight in the UFC, and yeah, he started this thing called the Thick Boy Bike Club, but he like mountain bikes because he's up there in the hills or whatever. And I wanted to join so bad, but I was like, I'm not thick, you know. I'm not thick at all. I'm trying, but like I haven't been lifting weights like I should be, you know. So I'm not getting any thicker, and biking really isn't helping because it's just like you know, I burn like 1,000 calories there and back.
Yeah.
You know, I'll the Cold Stone's right down there on Main Street.
Mm-hmm.
I'll eat a Lovett size of ice cream, or last time we went, I got a burrito from the El Burrito place, El Burrito Jr. or whatever.
Burn that off.
But anyways,
yeah.
I just want a super tangent there. But anyways, yeah, fitness during the Rona is tough. But you got a bit of a setup here. We've worked out a few times.
I do. I have a little bit of.
And I know you, like within the last week or so, fitness has been a little tough.
Yeah.
Kind of keeping up that motivation. What's going on with you with that?
Yeah, so I kind of have some equipment here at home, like a squat rack, like a bench press. It has a primitive cable on it, some dumbbells and whatnot. So I have enough going to like keep a pretty good free weight program going, I'd say. Barbell training and whatnot. But then I'm trying to gain weight too, and I got up to I gained the first 5 pounds I needed to roughly fairly quickly, or 5-ish pounds. And I've kind of been stagnating since. It's just because like the amount of food I have to eat, it's just a ridiculous amount. It's like 4,500 calories a day.
Yeah.
I just gotten burnt out.
The hardest part is eating all the food.
Yeah. So my programming was was really good, but then I feel like psychologically like, I've been stressing out a little bit. Like I've just been stressed, and like it's negatively been like affecting my performance and my motivation. Because like I'm not someone who I love working out. Like it's kind of like part of like it's kind of like my passion, like the art of doing it and like the science. Like I love all that. And like usually like I like pushing through like the times when I don't want to work out. But I got to the point where like the last week of my training, like I started getting like sick, like during, before, and like I just like a couple times I actually threw up, but I just put it down to some other stuff. But then like I went to go do legs, and I kind of got queasy right before I started doing it. Like I just really didn't want to do it at all, and I was like, yeah, I gotta stop, man. Like this just isn't good. Like I feel like if anything, like like I could be stressed out. Like my cortisol could be off the charts right now. Like I could be more catabolic than anabolic. Like I'm just not having a good time. Like I need to just deload and just step away for a little bit and do some other stuff, stretching and whatnot, maybe, and rethink what I want to do. Because I originally like planned on like quarantine. I didn't plan on quarantine, but I planned on quarantine being over like a couple weeks ago, if anything. So I planned on changing my whole routine and getting back into jiu-jitsu and like doing power training and competing soon, like within the next month from now. But that's not going to happen.
Competing in jiu-jitsu?
Yeah. So it just kind of threw everything off for me. Like I just feel like I need to. So right now I'm still taking a break, and next week I'll probably go back, but I'll either probably lower my frequency or put in some more power or strength training and cut my frequency and just dial in on my eating, I think.
But, interesting. So stress, is that like COVID related or just kind of?
No, I think
what do you attribute that to?
Feeling like, I mean, I guess it's COVID. I'm not worried about the virus at all, but just the fact that like
financial.
No, economy. not financial. Just like I'm trying to make things to. I don't know. Like I get a little like anxious if I'm not being productive. But like at this time, like it's okay to not be like the most productive. Like I am being productive, but like I have so much free time in my day,
Yeah.
Like which normally would be full with school or work, and then I do my other productive things in the other times of the day. But I don't have that, so like I just like I feel a little bit guilty or weird if I just sit around. And I feel like this week, like I'm starting to like get comfortable with just slowing down a little bit more, so I think that's starting to help.
Yeah, I definitely I feel you on that. With so much free time, it's just even if the little things you are doing to be productive, it doesn't even feel that much time.
Yeah,
you still have a lot of free time on top of that.
So I've just been doing a little bit more like research into the things that I want to do now, and just kind of getting a better idea and just kind of like resetting, in a sense, so that I can hit the ground running. But yeah, I just needed a break from it because I'm someone who loves fitness, and if I start hating it or like not wanting to do it, kind of despising the actual workouts, then that's when I knew like it was like, all right, I gotta deload, take a step back, reassess and whatnot. So
yeah, all right, that's cool. That's interesting. So you mentioned the catabolic there and stress.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes when people are trying to like lose weight or just get in shape in general, a lot of people don't consider the hormonal aspect of it and how much stress they're putting on their body with like a 9 to 5, driving through traffic, not drinking enough water, their relationships with their significant other, lots of different factors. So I don't know if you want to talk a little bit more into that and how that affects your training.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just the fact that there's a lot more to like your training and what you're trying to get out of it than just as simple as like you're just the workouts themselves. And then now people say, oh, it's the workouts you do and the food you eat. Like, yeah, that's true, but there's actually even more than that though. It's not just the food and the nutrition, it's also your sleep. Like that's probably like maybe the next biggest one as well. But stress is also another huge factor, just like your what you're dealing with at work. If you have things going on, family issues like that, all that psychological stress can lead to performance, hinder your performance,
for sure,
as well. So it's a lot more like I'm taking a much more like holistic approach to it, I guess, than just simply like the lifting and just the eating. Like I'm trying to manage everything else as a whole, I guess.
Cool. Okay. So what do you feel like is that that lack of, I want to say motivation, but just not wanting to work out as much? You know what I mean? You think it's just kind of doing the same kind of stuff?
I
over
mean,
and
I
over
like.
again? Cause
I don't know. I like the program I had. It was maybe just because I wasn't seeing the results anymore on the scale. Like that kind of slowed down because my nutrition might have been slacking a little bit. So like to remedy that, I'm actually gonna get like a meal prepping cookbook that kind of goes along with Renaissance periodization. I'm gonna get that and
they
just
sell
kind
it.
of, huh?
They sell it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get into that just because I kind of want to get into cooking, and it just makes sense to do that. It'll complement it so well, and it'll give me something else to do in the day to actually accomplish. Because I suck at cooking, and I know cooking takes a little bit of time, so it'll give me something to do in the day, like
Yeah.
So I think it'll complement my workouts and my routine during this whole quarantine well. So
Acquire some new skills.
yeah, it'll give me something, little things to shoot for each day, which I'm doing still a little bit. But like I said, those little things would usually go into my other days when I already had other things going on. So I still feel like I have an excess amount of time where I just feel like I'm wasting time, and I hate wasting time. I guess so I
Yeah.
feel like it's kind of been a snowball effect in a sense almost.
So that's a good point. You said it's something to shoot for, with trying to learn how to cook. And it's funny because I actually have a point on here of setting goals. I feel like a lot of people are lacking setting goals in this time, and they're just kind of going from day to day, just the monotony of just
Bullshit,
not getting out
yeah.
much, and you might not have a job or you're working from home, and just repetitiveness.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you go about setting a goal or just having the idea of a goal?
Well, I mean, it really depends on what the top.
Like your we'll just take your cooking one for example. How'd you come to that decision?
I just think it's kind of like the next necessary step. Like it all started with exercising, right? And then when my exercise and my programs are on point, then it became nutrition. And then once my nutrition was fairly on point, but then I got to the point where I needed to eat more and more food to keep progressing, and I started getting like tired of the food I was eating, or like it just got hard to like the food that I was eating is hard to eat enough of that food. So I'm looking for more nutrient dense, calorie dense foods that Renaissance Periodization put out that cookbook. So I think that's kind of like the next step, and it's a good skill to have. So I think while I have this time, like now, make the most of it now. And taking that step back this past week is kind of like giving me a clear mind to think about like, okay, this is the answer, because I was so overwhelmed. Like I said, I was getting nauseous and whatnot, and just feeling like super uneasy. To taking the step back and resetting, like my mind's become a little bit more clear of like what the right direction is to go now. So that's kind of
So no one was really pushing that,
no.
pushing you towards that. That was something that like intrinsic, what I like to call like intrinsic feedback, that drive within you.
Yeah.
To
Intrinsic motivation. Yeah.
Yeah. Self. What is it? Self.
Efficacy.
No. What am I meant to?
Damn, I was gonna say.
Well, self efficacy. It takes a part in that because at this point in time, you said you're not very comfortable with nutrition.
Yeah.
And if the reason you maybe had not gotten into it earlier is because you lack self-efficacy in cooking, so you want to try and avoid it.
Yes.
It's very human nature to avoid things you're not good at.
Exactly.
So, but what you did there, I swear I have some notes somewhere. I don't know. I swear I had notes on this. 1 second. I have a greater point. Self-assessment. Where you assess where you're at, and you notice that nutrition was kind of the limiting factor in what you wanted to achieve, and you were able to assess that and kind of make a change. And you did that.
Yeah.
And now you're trying to increase that self-efficacy in nutrition to help your other goal of lifting weights and getting bigger. So that's some high level shit, and doesn't like you're just like, yeah, I did that,
Yeah.
But a lot of people just don't have the ability to do that when they run into like a goal or a barrier rather to their goal. It's like, I'm SOL now, like I'll just stop doing that and
kick
then
rocks.
and then like maybe a couple months later I'll come back to it. But you identified the problem, took a step back, reevaluated, and now you're gonna go in a different direction.
Yeah.
which is something that we take for granted, but it's some high level shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, it sounds good. Hopefully, by the next podcast,
Yeah.
I'll actually have cooked.
Yeah.
This
You got to follow through on it.
This
no
sounds
doubt.
good. I got to make the meals.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Following through is really important. I've been really deep in the health coaching kind of hole recently because I just want to learn more about that and improve upon that. And a really important thing that a lot of people don't consider is this concept, the false hope fallacy, where they don't consider how much time and effort and commitment it takes to achieve a new goal. So learning how to cook is quite the endeavor. It's not something that happens overnight.
Yeah.
So you gotta understand that it's gonna take some time, some resources, and a little bit of frustration and some failure to make it happen. So the what did I just say? The false hope syndrome, tendency to set unrealistic goals. Very common. So make sure you start off small. You don't have to get all into I don't know if you've even really written that out, but maybe just shooting for like one day a week.
Yeah.
Just starting real easy.
I think I'm gonna just, like I said, get that book. I'm actually gonna do it after this podcast and find what I like, and then just produce it on make a lot of it, and then when I know I have a day, I'm just gonna be like, all right, this is what I'm gonna do at this time. Give myself a block of time, and this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna knock this out and just give it a shot. And it's not like I need to be like a master chef like within a week. Like this is something that's a lifetime skill. It's kind of like the approach I'm taking towards like learning the guitar. Like I'm not like, I don't have aspirations of playing in a band or nothing crazy, but like I just always thought like, oh, like that's cool. Like playing the guitar is kind of cool. Like I'm just gonna pick that up because like what if one day like I'm old and whatnot. Like I'll just be playing the guitar. Like this is just a cool skill to have. It's like that's kind of the approach I'm taking to like cooking. Just Absolutely. A good like life skill to have. Like I don't need to be a chef, but
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I agree. All right. Anything to add to that? I think we're good.
I think we're good on that topic, yeah.
Cool. Anything else from your life, or we can just hop into current events?
No, I can just go to current events.
Current events. All right. So the first one I want to talk. So obviously, we're trying to keep the topics primarily fitness related or somewhat related. Obviously a little tough right now because not a lot of fitness related things are going on just because of the lockdown. That's slowly starting to diminish, which we'll talk about in a second. Mm-hmm. But the one big one that happened over the quarantine just about a week and a half ago was Hathor Bjornsson. He broke the all-time deadlift world record. Did you watch that by any chance?
I didn't, but I heard about it.
I watched it, and it was crazy how easily he did it, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, when Eddie Hall did it, so if you're not familiar, Eddie Hall broke the record like 3-4 years ago. He did a 500 kilogram deadlift, which is 1,104 pounds or something like that, which is astronomical. That doesn't make sense. And he's talked about it. He said he nearly killed himself doing it. I mean, he went temporarily blind. Yeah. I mean, it's just ridiculous, Sick. He went temporarily blind. I mean, he had like just blood pouring out of his nose. And I think he even had blood coming out of his eyes.
That's tight.
That's real tight.
Yeah, that's
I mean, just real dedication to the game right there,
Shit.
So, I mean, pretty crazy. And then, I mean, a few years later, Thor walks up there, does 501 kilograms. And, it looked relatively easy for him. And he was like taking pictures, posing. He did it in his private gym, because commercial gyms are closed, and he couldn't do it in competition. So that was pretty astonishing. And before that, he had talked about doing, I believe, 540 kilograms. It was either 520 or 540.
Sheesh.
And that would have been cool to see him do that then. But I think he's going to save that and doing it for like a live event. Some people are a little salty about him just beating the record by 1 kilogram. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it counts. So, like, it's cool. I mean, I feel like he could have done more. Like, I feel like it's just like, yeah, I feel like it's almost a little bit of a waste.
I think he just did it just to say he did it.
Yeah, I guess.
Because they have a little bit of back history, which we'll get into in a second. But, yeah, I don't know why people get salty about beating a record by just 1 kilogram, which is essentially 2.2 pounds is a kilogram. I mean, adding 2 pounds to your max is unbelievably hard. So it's just like I know it's only 2 more pounds on top of 1100 something, but I would, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And I remember right before quarantine, Larry Wheels, he was in a what do you call it? Powerlifting event, and he did the same thing. It was for a total record of squat, deadlift, and bench all together. And his total, again, I think it was like 1 kilogram or maybe in a half a kilogram higher than the original. And people getting salty and being mad that he did it. And I just like, how do you hate on someone that just does something like so ridiculously crazy and remarkable? It takes months and months to train for that.
Yeah, but that's what people do, though.
Yeah. So, deadlift looked pretty smooth, and then right after, he called out Eddie Hall to fight, which I think they've. What are your thoughts on that?
That's hilarious, bro.
That is hilarious.
You guys are fighters now,
I hope it's a one and done kind of thing.
I can't wait to see the technique on that.
Yeah. So I think it's
big
like
boys.
Yeah, very big boys, very big boys. Thor, I think he's like 420, 430 pounds.
Nice.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
He nearly had a stroke. Right? Or what? What? He's so big, like half his face turned off. I don't even know what.
Jeez.
He didn't. I don't think he had a. Did he have a stroke? I can't remember.
I have no idea.
But like half of his face like droops, like he has cerebral palsy or something.
Shit.
But I think he got it from a stroke. Like a mini stroke. I'm almost positive.
Yeah.
I can't remember. But yeah, dude. I don't know. That fight's gonna be ridiculous. It's gonna last about 2 minutes, and they're gonna get tired as shit, and they're just gonna be swinging for the fences.
That's gonna be funny.
And basically, it's gonna be a TKO whoever just falls over first. Is my prediction on that. But what's interesting enough is Eddie Hall actually has experience with endurance athletes in the past. He used to be a swimmer when he was like a teenager. He was like so he's from England, obviously, and he was like a national level swimmer. So just because of that, I might give him the advantage. He used to swim back in the day, and swimming is very challenging.
Back in the day,
that muscle memory doesn't work like that. But anyways, so the reason I bring it all up is I believe it was just yesterday. They put out a little mini doc about how there was the controversy about the 2017 World's Strongest Man. There had been some rumblings about what happened, but essentially there was one event, the Viking Press, where Thor thought he deserved one extra rep, but he did this particular thing called double dipping. If you're not familiar with the Viking Press, it's essentially kind of like a push jerk or a thruster, something like that. And you can only bend your knees once at the bottom, and then you press, you lock out, and you have to keep your knees locked out when you're locking out your elbows. But he had his knees slightly bent, and then you can use it as a little bit of momentum at the top to help lock out. So that happened on the last rep. They gave him a no rep, and then there was 3 before that they said should have been no reps because they didn't give him the down signal. He wasn't holding at the top.
Mm-hmm.
So they let him slide on 3 reps, but then the ref was finally like, "Hey, dude, you did the double dipping," which they explicitly said before the event, "Hey, don't do that shit." Like, there's a whole video. I recommend you look it up. It has like 1 million views at this point. Right before the event, don't do that. You have a tendency to do that. Don't do that. They had like a whole talk about it. And he was super salty about it because eventually he ended up losing the 2017 World's Strongest Man by 1 point. And Eddie Hall ended up winning it. Retired after that. And he did not win. And I'm just like, they told you, like, it really changed my perspective of Thor, because I appreciate the dude, but like, he was just getting so salty about it. And to this day, he like thinks that Eddie cheated him out of a world title. It's just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Your character at that point, it's just like,
yeah.
And they even interviewed a few other guys about it and said, yeah, he doesn't have much of a leg to stand on. Like they're very clear not to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that? I feel like I'm talking too much.
You're
You're not as into the world,
No, I'm not into it as much.
strongman stuff as much as me. I really enjoy strongman. I follow it a lot. I like Brian Shaw, Martin Lises, Robert Oberst. Shout out Robert Oberst. Deadlifting is not a crime.
Yeah.
You could literally get fucking thrown in jail right now for deadlifting in a gym. So that's interesting. But anyways, that's besides the point. But yeah, I don't know if you have anything to say about that.
Not too much, to be honest.
I just thought it was crazy.
Yeah.
It's a current event. I thought I'd cover it.
Yeah.
Why don't you put it in the comments what you think of it? Yeah, it's looking tough for Thor. I don't know, cause it's just like you look kind of
Should we cover 24-hour fitness real quick?
Yeah, you look kind of salty. So yeah, why don't you tee up the 24-hour fitness? Go for it.
All right. Well, I heard something about a buddy complaining about what 24-hour fitness is gonna do, and then you just told me right now like exactly what they're gonna do. Like they're gonna open for an hour and like let a limited amount of people in. Is there like a number?
No number that I've heard of.
And then they're gonna close for 30 minutes and then open for an hour again.
Well, yeah, and during that 30 minutes, they're gonna have their whole staff like go through and clean the whole building for half an hour.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And then they're gonna let another batch of people in for an hour.
Hey, the good thing about this podcast at this point in time is because we do not make money off this. We cannot get demonetized. COVID is fake news. All right,
bro.
It's a real virus, but
yes.
You feel me? Like it's getting blown out of proportion.
100%.
So end the lockdown.
Obviously, there's people that have died from it and people that gotten very sick, but it's primarily older folks.
Yeah.
Primarily people with underlying health conditions, aka obesity.
Yeah.
People that are unhealthy and catch all kinds of bad diseases and whatnot. Anyways, so it's just tough, you know. I mean, at this point, I don't want to get too deep into COVID. It's just whatever at this point. But it's just at this point, it's very obvious it's a political kind of game.
Yeah.
And we don't have to get much more deep into that. But what are your thoughts on them having to do that? I don't think the state of California or the U.S. government is saying you have to do that. You think that I know what the answer is already, but do you feel like that's overboard?
Yeah, I think that's overboard. I think pretty much any other measures is overboard, so that's about how I feel about it. So I'm the type, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't wear a mask when I go out or nothing, so anything's overboard at this point.
What do you feel like gyms should do?
I feel that gyms...
Because obviously, you know, we work in a gym. That's our kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we really care about.
Yep.
So what do you think?
All right, this would be crazy. I think gyms should totally reopen, and if you don't want to go, stay home. There you go.
Hey, that's facts. That's facts.
If you feel bad about it, and like, all right, build a bridge, you know?
Yeah. Look, that's just, you know, and I feel that way for most businesses. America was born on
freedom.
Freedom. But the what am I trying to say? The freedom of choice, essentially.
Yeah.
You have the choice to choose what you would like to do with your life, as long as it doesn't infringe on other people, and you're not hurting other people. And it's just like if you're in a high risk category or you're scared about it, you don't want to catch it, don't go out.
Yeah.
You have that choice, but you also have the choice if you're not in that high risk category and you're not that scared about it. You should also have that choice to go out and live your life.
Mm-hmm.
So, I 100% agree with you. I'm you know what I'm a little nervous about is I was talking to our boss today. Everyone shall remain nameless, but he was saying that the Y specifically, our branch will go above and beyond whatever regulations there are to make sure people are safe, and that scared me a little bit because I swear to God, if they require people to wear masks in the gym, I'm gonna lose it. I won't. I'm gonna be very upset because I have a real feeling that they'll do that. That is just so unsafe on so many levels to have people working out with masks on, because it's just like even me just walking around. The only time I ever wear a mask is when I'm at work or in a business that requires it, and just walking around work, I get lightheaded and start getting a headache because it's like you're just not getting the proper oxygen through that mask. So it's just kind of silly, in my opinion.
I'll enjoy that if they try doing that. Just wait.
I'll refuse to work. I don't really care, and I'll advise highly against it. Being a fitness professional, I'll advise highly against that because it's extremely unsafe. You're not helping anyone.
That'd be crazy if they did that, though.
I don't know if they will, but I have a feeling. Who knows? Okay, that's it with that. Next, just want to bring up. You put me onto this gentleman, John Meadows, the Mountain Dog. He had a heart attack recently, but he seems to be doing better, so that's good. Shout out to him. I know I've just been watching a little bit of his videos, but I know you really like his like T-bar row. What is he calls it? The Meadows row,
he has
right?
The Meadows row. Yeah, you kind of stand perpendicular to the T-bar, and it's a unilateral row. Yeah, I really like that. I think I was doing that in the last mesocycle, or maybe the one before that. But I really like it. It's a pretty solid exercise. It's a little bit more advanced though, but I really like it. You're watching some of his stuff though.
A little bit here and there. Did he? No, I can't remember. Did he wear? Because he was a bodybuilder. Did he ever win an Olympia?
I have no idea, to be honest. I just think he's kind of like a legend in the industry, though. I don't really know.
He's just a wholesome guy.
Yeah, he's a really cool guy.
He definitely knows his stuff. He knows what he's talking about. He's more like on the gym bro side, but like, I think you can have a little bit of both. Like more on the scientific side, like Jeff Nippard and Jeff Cavalier.
Yeah, I wonder if he has any like actual like formal education, because some of the stuff like he throws out some stuff, but he does hit you with like there's a lot of gym bro like old school stuff, like obviously when he's like his videos and whatnot, but like sometimes like he starts dropping a little bit of, like actual like science and whatnot and like stuff like we learned about in school, and I was like, well, maybe he's just been in the industry so he learns it, you know.
Yeah,
so
I mean, he's
exactly.
How old is he? Like at least 50 something.
Yeah.
So when you've been around for so long, you just learn from people. You pick up stuff. But I think there's a merit to the more scientific way of like Jeff Cavalier or Jeff Nippard, and I think there's some merit to like just the pig iron shit, like CT Fletcher. Shout out CT Fletcher, or Mountain Dog.
Yeah. Or
any of those like old school kind of bodybuilders.
I think it also, in a sense, whatever allows you to become like passionate about fitness, that really helps too. Like you don't want to be an idiot just slinging weights like a jackass, but like if you being a little bit of a Jimmy bro kind of gets you like pumped up and staying in there and whatnot, like that's cool. But like I feel like for some people, like the understanding like fitness and like the science behind it and exercise physiology and whatnot, like that really gets them interested and kind of like gets them immersed into the industry and like the lifestyle as a whole.
Yeah, that's what got it for me through On It. Is just a little bit more of, not a scientific view, but I say more of an unconventional view. It's On It.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what got me into it. With unconventional training with like barbells and kettlebells and battle ropes and whatnot. So yeah, like Josh said, whatever gets you in, stick with that.
It's good, yeah.
Yeah.
But then be open to everything else,
For sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out John Meadows. All right, glad he's doing good. All right, next I want to go over. Now this isn't like necessarily this current event, but it's not being talked enough, I believe, is the lack of health and wellness info being distributed by government officials in regards to COVID. Like we already talked about, you're more susceptible if you have pre-existing health conditions, primarily obesity. I believe it's like the number one correlation other than age of people that are dying from COVID, at least in New York, I know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's interesting. There's a lot of overweight people in New York just because like there's so much walking you have to do to get around.
Yeah, well, they probably just eat junk food all the time.
And too much pizza and bacon, egg, and cheeses. But shout out bacon, eggs, and cheeses. I eat those every morning. But anyways,
bomb right now.
Yeah, fire. But yeah, not to get too conspiratorial, but what are your thoughts on? I mean, I just I don't want to go too off the
different podcast.
Look into it. But I mean, go for it. I don't know.
What about what?
Just the lack of info being put out by the government on how to really boost your immune system, boost your physical fitness which we know, not just for COVID, but just for any kind of disease, the better cardio and better immune system and stronger you are, the less susceptible you are to many different things.
At the end of the day, like that's because like that comes down to like the individual's choice to choose that lifestyle, you know. And most people are lazy or don't have the motivation. Most people in the United States are like obese or tend to be like on the heavier side. So like they don't, so they don't choose that, and so like people want like the government or Big Brother to say like, oh, like we can fix this or we'll do this, we'll take over, like we'll lock everything down and we'll take care of it, fix this with our vaccines, this and that, but like as with like everything like the government does, like it's too slow, it doesn't work, like it's not the right way of doing things, and like if people became accountable for like their own bodies and their own health, then I think we'd be in a much different place with like this virus and like stuff like this. But the mass population of people, like they don't exercise and they don't know a lot of like the right protocols behind it. I mean, you don't need to make it super crazy, but just exercise. But people don't do that, you know.
So you think it's a systemic issue coming from the top down of the government doesn't push those things, so then people don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the government could do a better job at like promoting that, but I just also think that's also just like a human nature thing, you know. Like I love working out, but like I've learned to love like that sucky part, you know. But like I still recognize that like sometimes it really sucks, you know. But like I kind of learned to love that. But like human nature is to not to step into that where it sucks.
To be like Joe always talk. Yeah, you know? Being comfortable. Jocko talks about that a lot. David Goggins talks about that a lot. Joe talks about that a lot. People like to feel comfortable, and you got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Cameron Haynes talks about that. So, that's just, but yeah, I mean, that's something you can't teach. That's just, you know.
Someone has to take it upon for themselves, you know. Like, you can't take the pill. You can't, like, that's not a pill you can take. You know?
No doubt.
That's a choice.
Do you think if fitness and wellness and whatnot was pushed harder through the government, whether it be federal or state?
Well, I mean, I don't think it should really be pushed per se. I think it's like you mean like
just
recommended
information.
Yeah,
just information on how to do it, because a lot of people don't even know how to do it.
Maybe, but I mean, who's to say that like the government could put together like good information? Because didn't they fuck up the food pyramid?
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, that's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a good point. At the top of the food pyramid was bread, which is like, you know.
Was it at the top?
Well, sorry, at the bottom, which is like.
Yeah.
At the bottom, which is like where your base of your nutrition should be, and at the top was like oils.
Yeah. Which,
you know, are important. Olive oil.
Yeah.
Avocado oil, coconut oil, all those things are good.
Case in point, it was skewed. Like it wasn't accurate.
Yeah. So, how about this question? You know, big food companies. So obviously, like certain kind of food industries are subsidized from the government. We know milk is. We know grain is. Mm-hmm. Maybe the oil, people that make oil, whatever, is not subsidized. Do you think if the government was to subsidize and promote a particular fitness-related thing, I don't even know what it would be.
Shit.
You think like some shady shit would go down with that?
I don't know. When it comes to the government, I'm the type to think that shady shit is automatically going to go down for the most part.
Or it's just like what Joe says, like incompetency.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely a lot of that too. People like, you know, like we kind of learn about it like in school. Like even doctors, like they know medicine, but like they don't really know like recommendations for exercise that well. You know?
Yeah, that's just
like they're
that's just incompetence.
Like they're a professional, like getting elected. They won the popularity vote or whatever. You know, like politicians.
Okay,
you know, they know how to play the game to get elected, and like I'm not saying like they're all bad this or that, but like when it comes to like particular issues, sometimes they're put in charge of it, but they don't really know that much of it themselves. You know,
yeah.
Like if they're like the director of or on the board of like. Now they have this new title. Like they're gonna get a crash course and like
they
learn some basics. Around. Yeah,
I remember the craziest thing was I remember that doctor that was running for president against Trump, Carson.
Oh, Ben Carson. Yeah.
He's a doctor or whatever, and then he's in his cabinet, but he's part of like housing or some shit.
Yeah.
Like why do you have a really smart doctor? I don't know what he's a doctor in.
I think he's like a neuroscience doctor or some shit.
Yeah, whatever it is, a neuroscience doctor, in charge of like housing or whatever. That doesn't make any goddamn sense. So that's just like incompetency within the government. Just one example.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like Ben Carson's a pretty smart guy. Like I don't know,
But like have like a guy that does that, you know?
Yeah, true. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
To be honest, I don't know
I
about
just
the
wanna-
topic to say too much on it.
Yeah.
These are just kind of ideas on free ball and at least related to fitness and whatnot. But yeah.
All right. Any other information regarding health and wellness? Well, one thing I will say is especially at the beginning of this. No, I say even now. With so many people having so much more free time, I definitely see a lot more people out and about walking, out and about riding bikes.
Oh,
Was
yeah.
that during the podcast or before when I was ranting about that?
I don't know, but I noticed
I
it a
can't
lot
remember.
too. I'm
But-
noticing a lot too.
With the biking I've been doing. Now, I'm newbie to it, but I got pretty good cardio. I used to bike a lot when I was younger. There's so many people out and about on the San Gabriel flood channels. It's out of control. So, and my client that I got my bike from, that I'm borrowing from, he said he won't even go up there anymore. There's too many damn people. He just takes the streets because he said that's the only time ever crashed was a pedestrian in the trails or whatever. And
That's
yeah,
funny. That's cool.
so that is a
Plus.
advantage or a plus to this is that people do have more time and they are taking advantage of that. But I say it has to be more.
Yeah.
It's definitely you can see a lot more people out and about, but it should be a
still-
lot more.
Yeah. I think so too. Yeah, because I'm going to the park and playing spike ball a lot. So playing soccer and whatnot. So I'm seeing everyone using the fields and whatnot. It's cool because usually when I go, guys would go just be us or a group. I mean, granted, everyone's kind of off work, so it makes sense. But just to see everyone out and about, actually using the parks and whatnot, being outside is cool. It's refreshing.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, cool. So that's it for that. Just some minor topics at the end here, but sports, something related to fitness. I've heard that we'll be coming back next. What month? Sorry, or May? Yeah, June. I've heard sports are coming back in June. Now, we're in California. They're obviously not coming back here. Newsom. Well, actually, they might because a lot of the California sports teams, they said, "Oh, we can't play here. We'll go to Arizona. We'll go to Florida. We'll figure it out.
Mhm.
We'll play." I think they're planning to have the football season start in Florida and have damn near every team playing down in Florida in the same stadium
Mm-hmm.
and just playing there. Because I mean, dude, think of how much money the NFL brings in.
Yeah, the
you know?
NFL is not going to give up their season.
Yeah, dude.
Neither are the cities who have those teams. They're not going to,
Yeah,
they don't want to.
It's
either.
the same thing with Elon Musk. He was like, "Oh, you guys don't want to play ball? Peace out. We'll go to
Yeah.
Nevada."
Yeah.
And then Newsom was like, "Oh wait, no, we want that money, that
Yeah.
tax money." You
Yeah.
know? So, I think this is a positive with sports coming back and putting a lot of pressure on.
Yeah, that's just what you need to do.
Yeah, you
Put
just
pressure on them.
and it'll be a trickle down effect of these giant companies, Tesla, the LA Rams, the LA Chargers, the Dodgers. I mean, these huge ass companies that bring in millions and millions of dollars for the state of California and their communities. It'll be a trickle down effect to eventually come back down and have smaller businesses open up. So that's a positive. Anything else to add to that?
No, just hopefully things start opening up before any more damage happens to the economy and to people's businesses. It's good that the sports are opening back up. But I'm talking about also about the smaller businesses as well.
They're the ones that need the
Yeah,
most,
so
really.
Hopefully that happens soon.
It's cool that sports and Elon Musk, but they ultimately have so much money they could figure it out. But but it takes them to make it happen. At least I think.
It does, yeah.
All right, and I was gonna bring up the Olympia. I don't know. You don't follow bodybuilding that
Not
much.
too much, no.
All right.
Just that they scheduled it, or what?
Yeah, so I'll just briefly cover it. So obviously all bodybuilding shows have been canceled, but the first one to come back is from what's been announced so far is the Olympia, and normally it's kind of in the middle of the year, like at the end of summer, and you have lots of not exhibition, but just events because you have to qualify for the Olympia. But the Olympia is top tier bodybuilding, if you win the Olympia, you're the shit, or the Arnold,
Mm-hmm.
But the Olympia is the historic one. And so normally it's at the end of the summer, and there's lots of different events that kind of lead up to that, and you have to, accrue so many points to qualify for the Olympia. And so it's cool. Bodybuilding is not going to completely die, and they're going to move the Olympia to December, and hopefully that will give them enough time for other shows to add in front of it, so you can have qualifying events to then have a good Olympia, and see all those massive ass dudes up there. Kai Green, familiar with Kai Green?
Yeah.
He keeps teasing that he's gonna be back. He's been retired, and what do you call these?
Apostrophes?
No.
No, quotations?
Quotations, there you go.
Yeah,
I'm doing quotations. You can't even see me. He's been retired.
Damn, good thing I didn't major in English, bro.
Damn, Daniel. Yeah. He's been saying he's retired, but like he keeps kind of hinting that he'll come back. So it'd be cool to see him come back. But people are making the necessary steps to kind of get back to normal and have events. So that's all really cool. That's it for current events, and that's pretty much almost all I got.
I think that's pretty good.
That was
for the first
51 minutes.
Official one, yeah.
Yeah, we had our event. We had a little update, current events. Yeah, I think that's all I got. So, I mean, what are we trying to do? Once a week, every other week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just gotta see when new stuff happens. Ooh. We'll try it again in a week or 2 weeks, but something at least somewhat regularly.
Yeah, we have the setup. So I think I briefly said at the beginning, but the reason we hadn't been doing it is because we couldn't figure out how to get it on Spotify. But we figured out we have to switch the audio file to MP3, and then we can put it up there. So we got that now. So we can start really doing these and posting them. We'll have more topics to talk about pertaining to fitness. We'll have more current events. We'll have updates on our fitness-related stuff. We might even have some guests.
Yes, there we go. Yes, sir.
Word. All right, that's it.
Well, until next time.
Performance Academy. This has been Zach.
And Josh.
Peace.
Out.